Hey, I'm Carla.
I'm Heidi.
And we're the Butcher Babies.
And you are watching Metalshop TV. Well, it's already finished. And we released a barrage of singles throughout 2020 and 2021. And we're gonna follow that up with a full-length album in 2023, but we're also going to finish out the rest of this year with a bunch of singles from that album. So we're very excited. We played one new song today from that album called Best Friend, and it's been going over really well, so we're very excited. So I know it's been a while, but
it'll be worth the wait. I think we live in a time where people want things right now. They want new stuff all the time. And I also think that when you release a single, people have a chance to digest that song, fall in love with that song before they skip to the next one and the next one and the next one. We really like developing a song on its own, making a video for that song, telling the story of that song. Because, you know, every song is special to us.
We put our heart and soul into so many, every single song that goes on the album. We don't just half-ass any of the songs. And so we want to make sure that it gets the life and the attention it deserves. And so I think we're just gonna continue this way and just leak it a little bit at a time and keep it going. That's a really hard question.
Life is made up of these awesome little moments that we talked about it the other day, there's certain moments, and we share so many of them where they're just etched in your mind, and it's just beautiful moments. So to pick just one is so hard. I'll say that one very special moment for me was leaving on my very first tour with Butcher Babies, because I gave up so much of my life because I believed in the impossible, and we made it happen on that first tour.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, a very, very long time ago. It was 2012.
Yeah.
And we had
2012.
Terrible little tour bus. And but it was magic stepping on the bus with my best friends, heading out to our first real tour.
And I'll follow that up with 10 years later, just a couple days ago. We were at a festival playing, and we were right in the middle of playing a song that we released a decade ago. And it was a moment where everyone starts to jump, and we count 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and everyone jumps. But at the same time, our tour manager Kyle over there was running the fire, and the fire hit as soon as the crowd started jumping, and it was all in slow motion. We watched the fire, and we watched people's drinks be thrown into the air, and it was just like slow motion, everything. It was a really cool moment in time, and just kind of seeing the crowd react so strongly to a song that we released 10 years ago was really cool. It was almost a full circle. Yeah, we both lived in Los Angeles for she was there for 20 something years, I was there for 15 years, and then we both left. And I went to Las Vegas, and the neighborhood that I moved into was the same neighborhood as Lena. And so we just became friends through that, and decided we wanted to take them out on their very first US tour. And they made it happen, we made it happen, played a couple shows together just a couple of days ago. I think you'll see more from the two bands in the future. We work really well together, we're really good friends and really support each other, and I think that that's what it's all about.
I I think that Monsters Ball we kind of knew, and that was the kind of song we were kind of stuck on. And actually the producer canceled one day, so we just went over to Heidi and Henry's apartment, and Henry had this idea for the chorus, Can't Stop Moving, very, very simple. And it was like, fuck yeah, we wrote the rest of the song that day.
Yeah.
Very fast after we had that Can't Stop Moving. And I think that we all felt like this is so simple and so cool, it's going to be popular.
Yeah, and that, we wrote it, the Monsters Ball is about the pit. You know, the crowd surfing, the sweating, the sun beating down on you. And so it was really special for us to put that into a song. And we kind of knew immediately, okay, this is gonna be cool. And then when we started playing it live, even before the song had to come out, people were singing it back with us. And we just knew that's gonna be that's the maker there. That's our song. I think for me, what I didn't realize that would be a fan favorite is our song, Jesus Needs More Babies for His War Machine. And we wrote that song 13 years ago in a garage. And we've played it in front of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people over the years. And we played it today. And it always ends up being a crowd favorite. And when we first wrote it, we had no idea. No idea that 13 years later would be the go-to song that gets the crowd going.
I find it, after all these years, so easy. We both respect each other and our ideas, so that's number one. When you're working with someone, to have a mutual love and affection and respect for that person, and listen to their ideas, share your ideas, and now we can finish each other's sentences when we're writing
a song.
If she's got a great line,
just finishing her sentence.
If she's got a great line, I have a great line to go with it, and vice versa. And also, though we grew up very differently, led very different lives, the things that we write about are very much the same. So if you open up our journals and our scribbles, there's so many things that can go together.
Yeah.
So it's actually really magical, and I think it's very intimate to be able to share that kind of space with another vocalist and not be have jealousy or, oh, well, this is a great line, but I don't want to use it. It's not my line. I don't want to use it. It becomes far bigger than that.
Yeah, we look at it as the bigger picture. And there are times that she'll write something and I'll sing it, or I'll write something and she'll sing it. We don't really fight about it. We always joke with people, like, we fight to the death, but in all honesty, we are best friends, and we have been for 15 or so years. And I think understanding each other's creative outlet and understanding each other as artists really helps. And I think us being such good friends really has brought so much out in our music. And like she said, it's all about respect. I think for me, one of the most brutal things was our very first tour ever, and it was in the UK. We did Download Festival, several dates with Fozzy, and then we did a date with Anthrax, and it was in Cardiff, and it was this big church. And right before we went on it, like I said, very first tour we've ever done. Right before we went on, someone threw a beer on stage the exact moment our music started, and it was just raining in beer, and it was brutal. And then the crowd just went bananas. It was so cool. Just beer came at us, and then beer went everywhere.
I remember this beer because it came right straight towards me, and I went like this. And it hit the drummer.
So
Not today.
That was really fun. That was a good one. I also split my pants in half one time on stage. And we were in Barcelona, second song in, and I went for and my pants just split all the way up.
I fell off the stage once too. That was pretty brutal. I just stepped in Philadelphia and fell right off. And then I got up, I'm okay. But yeah, many brutal things happen to us on stage, but you know. And if we see something in the audience that is too much going on, someone's getting hurt, we stop the show, so.
I mean, there's a time or two we've gotten a thumb up the butt, but that's fine. I'm just kidding. This was supposed to be a horror film, but it ended up kind of being funny. But I saw Nope by Jordan Peele.
I haven't seen it yet.
And
don't spoil it.
I really liked it. I thought it was unique. I thought the story premise was amazing. I really love the new Evil Dead. And it's not really new, it came out almost 10 years ago, but it's newer than the older one that came out, 30, 40 years ago. So I really love that. I love the movie It Follows. That one's another really cool one, kind of bringing horror to a modern time.
I'm just trying to think of what I saw lately. There was a movie that I saw, and I cannot remember the name, but it was about an old woman and her daughter and granddaughter come to visit, and she's turning into a monster. But it's all a metaphor for aging and dementia. And I thought it was a really brilliant movie because of that correlation, because as she knows, the things that I fear the most are like getting old and that kind of stuff. So it was a really cool metaphor for that. I also just saw The Black Phone before I
want to see
left, and I didn't think it was the greatest movie, but I do like movies about just people who are these people, fringe people that do these horrible things to other people. More so than supernatural stuff, I like stories about just normal people who are fucked up and do these crazy things to people. So that's good for that. Again, for me, my favorite horror movie is one about a person who is disenfranchised and becomes a psychopath because of that, and that's Leatherface. And I really like I said, stories about people who are just lonely, disenfranchised, living on the fringe, and they do these things, but it's not really their fault. They're sick people, and they were raised in such a way. So that's my favorite of all time. And I love when she's running through the corn and he's coming, and it's such a cool thing. And back in the day, people did their own stunts, which I think is awesome. And they had that poor girl just running around, falling, and it must have been a cool experience. Probably horrible experience to film it, but cool.
I would say probably House of a Thousand Corpses is one of my absolute favorites. I think it brings everything into it, fear, psychology. There's so much that goes into it. But I do have to say that the original Scream was probably one of my favorites. I think that was the first horror film I ever saw. My dad let me watch it with him, and I was just a small kid, and it was the first time I was able to watch a rated R movie or a horror film, and I got to watch it with my dad, so it was kind of a bonding experience. My dad is a movie maker, and so every time I was scared or something was weird, he's like, look, if I pause the sound, it's not that scary. Music really is a soundtrack to our fear. And so I learned a lot with the movie Scream.
I think metal is a universal language. I think that most fans are the same everywhere. The music connects us all, and it's such a powerful thing. We always talk about it. We have played all over the world, from the Philippines, Japan, Europe, everywhere in Europe. When we see people, when English is not their first language and they're singing back the lyrics that we sat and wrote together, it is such a powerful thing for us, and we are so grateful for that experience.
You know, I think so much goes into being a fan of metal or music in general. I think, as she said, it really is the one thing that connects us all worldwide. And one of my favorite things, and what we kind of wrote Monsters Ball about, we're all from different places and we all look way different, and everything that we do is different, but the moment you step into that pit or onto a concert floor together, it doesn't matter where you're from, what you look like, what your parents do for a living, what you do for a living. Nothing matters except for that very moment. And I think that that's what really connects us all worldwide.
So for me, the first rock and roll band that I heard was Guns N' Roses, and I was like, immediately that got me into rock music. And then I heard Pantera, and that got me into metal. And I'm still obsessed with Pantera. Couldn't be more excited about the Pantera tour going out. I'm super excited about it. Still to this day, I have the same favorite bands. I have not changed since I was 11 years old.
I mean, we got to tour, when we got to tour with the band Down, and Phil Anselmo, obviously the singer of Down as well. It was such a monumental thing for both of us, because he was a huge inspiration. I mean, Pantera is a huge inspiration for, I would say, 99.9% of metalheads. So that was amazing. For me, I grew up in a different time. I grew up where it was Slipknot, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Sepultura, all those bands, the new metal phase. That's where I grew up. I grew up in a household where rock and metal definitely was like a no. And I had to sneak out and go to the skate park and meet up with friends and listen to metal with them. And I always say this classic story of, I borrowed a Korn CD from a friend, and my mom found it and she broke the CD in front of my face, and no garbage like this will be in my household. Well, my mom is a huge Korn fan now, so. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Typical day, we wake up. I immediately look for coffee. I like to go to a little cafe, draw a little bit, and drink my coffee. That's very important to me. Having normalcy on the road is very important, so I make sure that I do that every day. And then, you know, if we have a gym, we work out, play the show, try to
drink.
Yeah, drink. We drink lots of Jaeger.
Repeat. My day consists of sleeping till like 1 p.m. if I can.
So I get coffee alone.
So I'll sleep all day if I can, because that's what helps my vocals. But a day on tour is exciting. We had a day off yesterday and we all went exploring. Every single person on the tour went out in Prague together and had a good time. And to us, that's really important too. These shows are amazing. These shows are what we live for, but those experiences, walking around and exploring a city together, is also something that makes a tour unforgettable.
We always say, you know, this is a different time for music. You may not get rich, but you have this ability to have this beautiful life experience. If you don't take advantage of it, you're doing it wrong.